Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Leslie. If you haven't been here before, you've wandered across my little corner of the internet. I really want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. I did mean to come back earlier, but life got a little off track, and so here we are. Let's start out the new year saying that we are going to do a Valentine project once a week right up until Valentine's. But as they say, best laid intentions, right? But that is our goal. One Valentine's project per week, right up until Valentine's, whether I use the laser, the 3D printers, sublimation, paper, whatever it may be. There should hopefully, fingers crossed, be one project a week right up until Valentine's that features something about, I'm not necessarily going to say Valentine's, but something a little on the lovey dovey side, maybe, or the cute love side, or whatever. That being said, let's go down to today's project. I will bring you down to the table. And today's project features a gnome shelf sitter. I love shelf sitters. They just help to bring a little bit of spirit in without needing to hang a hook on the wall or worry about, it hanging outside, being heavy enough to hang outside because we've had really bad wind or anything like that. They're just easy and they're cute. And this is a little gnome girl. Now, I did use a design that I found in the um, xTool Studio, and I loaded it into my xTool. Um, in case you didn't know, I have the M1 Ultra, and I am loving it. And so I loaded it up, and what I had was a square that was, I believe, 10.5 inches. And I took the gnome design and I made it large enough to fit the 10.5 inch square. Um, Everybody, when I say that, asks me why a 10.5 inch square. And I will tell you the truth. Yes, you go to your supplier and you buy a 12 by 12 piece of basswood in this case, and you get it home and you're going to measure it and you're going to discover that it's never an honest 12 by 12 piece. Never. It's always off. Could be 12 by 12 top to bottom or side to side, but it might be 11 and a half one way or the other, or all four ways. Yeah, you know. So what I do is I go down to either to 11 or an 11 and a half. And in this case, 11 made my little girl gnome a little too big. So I went down to 10 and a half. And then I painted it up. You don't need to watch me paint. I'm sure, beginner crafter or not, that we all know how to paint. But I did use white, a, a darker pink, a light pink, and a red. I did not use fancy paints. I just used the basic Crafts Smart paints. Now, I will set these over here and show you up close. They gave good coverage because I did two coats. I let them dry thoroughly, and then I went ahead and did polyacrylic to seal it. So that is all done. Now, the other item that I am using is some red gingham tape. Why, you ask? Well, that's quite simple. I did not have a thick enough piece, sorry, of any kind of rope or twine to go through there and look good. So because it's my own, it's a design that I found, but it's my own creation, the way that I put it together. I decided to use some cute ribbon. So here we go, guys. What am I using to put it together? Just some super glue. So let's get started. If you guys have any cute Valentine's projects or even Christmas projects to share, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. Let's start having conversations and sharing ideas and helping each other out in 2026. Crafting should not be a closely guarded secret. All right, so let's get this right to where it needs to be. And I always try to leave when I do it. I don't lay both ends flat. I leave one end that I can wiggle and maneuver if I need to. Because when that glue goes down, that glue goes down. And it's hard to maneuver. Come on, you want to come over here a bit. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now what I do is I turn it over, give it a good push. And there we go. So now we have our hair on, and we are going to add our cute little gnome nose. And here we go. You can always, if you don't have polyacrylics, seal with Krylon spray and put it together afterwards if you like, or put it together and then seal it if you like. And now we are going to line our heart up just like so. So, can you share a Christmas tradition with us that you really enjoy, or even a New Year's, or just simply a simple holiday tradition? For us this year, we had a blast when the kids' elf came to visit. Yes, we do the elf on the shelf thing. I gotta be careful. My granddaughter is. Oh no, she's gone to school. We do the elf on the shelf, and we had a blast this year. Our elf um, may have, done things like made snow angels in flour all over the dining room table. Um, and he bought some minion. Bought some minion friends to play in the flower with her. She did some baking. She climbed the bathroom door and hung streamers. She just had an incredible time when she visited our house. Now, I did cut out the little stand that came with this. And so she goes in like that. Okay. And now what I want to do before I do that is put her legs on. And like I said, since I didn't have twine, I am simply using a bit of ribbon. This is not fancy ribbon. This is got it at the dollar store ribbon. But like everything else, it will work. And like I've been doing for quite a while now, I am trying to use up the things I have on hand. Now I have a little trick. I just take a little piece of tape and I let it, there we go. Just like that to help hold it in place while the crazy glue dries. I don't know why, but super dupe glue, sorry. I don't know why, but it does seem to take a little bit longer with the ribbon. Now, as I was saying, one of my goals in 2026 is to use up the things I have and keep purchasing the things that I have found useful, that I really do enjoy, and just, basically clean up my craft room just a bit so that, you know, I don't have a bunch of things that I haven't touched in a year or two. I have things here that I haven't touched since I lived as a military wife on a military base and used to go to scrapbooking weekends. So we're talking 10 years or more. And so I want to start using up some of my favorites from that, while at the same time uh, getting rid of the things that I know I really won't use, you know. So that is my goal for 2026. So look out, craft and supplies. We're getting serious in 2026. It's funny how many things I have bought and I know exactly what I want to do with them. But when the time comes, I just can't bring myself to use them. Isn't it funny how that can happen? It's it just shocks me every time. Oops, oops, oops. Other way, other way, other way. It shocks me every time that I do that. I'm like, oh, this is such a cute project and I got to do it. And then I go, oh, I really don't want to use this up or that up or whatever, right? And so I end up not doing said cute project because heaven forbid that I use that last bit of whatever. Since the ribbon is a little bit thicker, I'm having a couple of issues with it, but I will get it worked out. Let's see what's going on here. So if that is your goal, is to use up some supplies like my paper so that I can get fresh new stuff, fresh new colors, from my colored pads and stuff. Let me know and let me know what you are trying to use up. I am very interested to see what we all hoard and stash. I know that we are going to be very soon making some little notepads and some buttons to help use up some of the stash that, I may not have used before because I just didn't know what to use it for. It's not like it came in a pad of scrapbook paper, not my favorite thing. And so, what do I do with it? I don't want to waste it. I have donated so much, so much stuff to the school down here that they are so grateful for. But sometimes I want to use some of it and I'm not sure what I want it for. So what I will be doing is making things like notebooks and stuff. And then when they have their little sales at the school, they have these little craft fairs and they sell things. I will be able to donate notepads and stuff like that. Maybe a few planners that I've made. And that way, this stuff is getting used and appreciated, even though it's not necessarily paper of my taste, right? So, if you are doing any of that, let me know. Maybe he'll give me some ideas for projects that could work for the school. That would be awesome so that I can get a few more ideas on how to use up. Um, like I have a whole bunch of flowered paper pads that I won in draws and stuff. It's not necessarily something I would buy. And so having some ideas to use some of that up, I would be very grateful for because I've given away so much. On the other hand, if you're new to crafting and looking for a cheap paper source that, is outside of the box but is good quality, I know that here, at least, our local paint shops give away wallpaper books. Once that wallpaper is no longer available, they start giving away their books. And I had so much of it. A friend brought me like 10 books of it because he worked at the wallpaper store, the design store. And so I got like 10 books of free paper that was wallpaper. So nice and thick, easy to use. And there we go. Our little gnome is done. And he will sit, or she, will sit quite nicely on a shelf. She was nice and easy to do. Let me move her forward a little bit. I am going to tell you that I will probably go ahead and see she's a little wobbly. I will probably go ahead and sand down these little spikes a bit, just so that she doesn't wobble. They just need a little bit of a sanding. But doesn't she turn out adorable? So that is our easy first, come on, untwist, Valentine project of 2026. Now, let's talk alternatives. You don't have a laser cutter. I did see a couple of little, they're smaller gnome kits at Dollar Tree. You could make her out of paper. All she is a gnome holding a heart. Make her out of paper. And then do the accordion fold on strips of paper for the legs. It's easy. You just need to take the basic design, which was the gnome, and turn it into what you want it to be out of the items that you need to use up. Cardboard, chipboard, wood, paper. Maybe you're going to 3D print, hint, hint, something because you just got that new 3D printer for Christmas, Lots of us got Cricket's 3D printers. Maybe you got a heat press for sublimation or a DTF printer, UVF printer, anything can be used to create this design. And it doesn't have to be a shelf sitter. It could be a cute little Valentine's gnome on the front of a t-shirt. The point is, have fun, create, and enjoy your space and your supplies. And I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye.